The Rock's personal writer and former WWE head writer Brian Gewirtz has disputed Dave Meltzer's reports regarding John Cena's heel turn at WWE Elimination Chamber. Tony Khan opens up on what match possibly should have been the main event last night for AEW Revolution. Swerve Strickland reveals he suffered a ruptured eardrum at the pay-per-view event last night. Big Boom AJ confirms his AEW contract status. Timeless Toni Storm comments after defeating Mariah May in the Hollywood ending last night at Revolution. More notes and details from the AEW post-show media scrum last night in LA, and the backstage reaction to the controversial comments made by an actor from Queen of the Ring have been revealed. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with Dave Meltzer's reporting being heavily disputed by certainly someone in the know regarding John Cena's heel turn at WWE Elimination Chamber recently. Now, of course, John Cena shocked the world at Elimination Chamber when he turned heel just minutes after winning the men's Elimination Chamber match. Now, with the victory, Cena earned a shot at Cody Rhodes and the undisputed WWE Championship at WrestleMania, but that was only part of the story. The star was soon joined in the ring by Rhodes and subsequently The Rock and rapper Travis Scott. After The Rock made an offer to Rhodes to join him on an earlier episode of SmackDown, Rhodes had a decision to make. However, he rejected the Hollywood star by telling him to go F himself, but that elation was short-lived as moments later, Cena delivered a thunderous low blow to align with the final boss instead. Now, according to Dave Meltzer, that almost didn't happen. As noted by Meltzer in last week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, the original plan for Cena would have seen him turn heel at the end of WrestleMania of this match against Rhodes. To a degree, this would have mirrored Stone Cold Steve Austin's infamous heel turn in 2001 when he aligned with Vince McMahon to defeat The Rock for the WWE Championship at the Astrodome. He said, Meltzer, quote, "The plan was that the Cena turn with The Rock would have been saved for WrestleMania's finish. The idea is that once the decision was made during the day to do it on this show, then obviously it had to go on last." Now, Meltzer also revealed that The Rock originally wanted Cody Rhodes to turn heel first, but Cody Rhodes actually declined, and Cena was then pitched the heel turn, and he accepted it. So that was the story that Meltzer put out there on Friday, but this has now been quite heavily disputed, and we've actually got a back and forth on social media between Brian Gewirtz, of course, he was previously a head writer in WWE after Vince Russo in the Attitude Era, was for a long time the head writer specifically of Monday Night Raw, but overall in WWE. Once he left WWE, he actually now works closely with The Rock in his $7 production company, helping him with a lot of his projects, TV shows, movies, etc. But also, whenever The Rock does anything with WWE, Brian Gewirtz is usually his writer, whether it's promo, storyline segments. Brian Gewirtz is always involved in. If The Rock's at WWE show, Brian Gewirtz is there as well. And Brian Gewirtz, of course, he would know about the wider plan. He would know about what the plan has always been regarding The Rock, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and WWE. And he's saying that what Meltzer has been reporting isn't true. Now, WrestlePurist, of course, an aggregator account, put out there this story that Meltzer put out there on Friday from the Wrestling Observer, saying the plan was for John Cena's heel turn alongside The Rock to be saved for the WrestleMania main event. However, the decision was made on the day of Elimination Chamber to do it there instead. Gewirtz quote tweeted this and said, quote, 0 for 2. Now, Meltzer responded to another post on social media which said, and what did Gewirtz say? I'm taking that who works with The Rock over anything else. Meltzer said, quote, sorry you didn't read as I figured, no more time, but quickly in 2023, Gewirtz said the story about Dwayne being in talks to do the Inglewood Mania was made up. Later, Dwayne did multiple interviews saying they were very close and it almost happened. Now, Gewirtz disputed this as well. He quote-tweeted Meltzer and said, quote, no, I said your reasoning for him not doing Mania, not having enough time to get in ring shape was wrong, and it 100% was. Gewirtz then quote-tweeted another tweet saying, Rock confirmed on Pat McAfee's show that the reason the match didn't happen at WrestleMania 39 was due to creative differences. Brian Gewirtz said, quote, he did. It's out there for the world to see, but Dave will never admit he's wrong. He'll just deflect and dust off that old Frank DeFord article stating how wonderful he is. But I know the story and he is wrong. And unlike his sources, I'll attach my name to that statement. So what do you make of what Brian Gewirtz is saying then? What do you think it means for Meltzer's reporting. Let me know your reaction to all of it in the comment section below. Now, last night was AEW Revolution on pay-per-view, and many people still talking about the event. Some spectacular matches on the shows, match of the year candidates, but there has been some criticism regarding the actual main event of the show and what should have gone on last at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California. Now, heading into AEW Revolution, many fans wanted to see the AEW Women's World Championship match between timeless Toni Storm and Mariah May main event the pay-per-view, given that it was the third match of their trilogy and the investment into the storyline at this point, as well as the location of being in Hollywood for the show. The AEW World Championship match, though, between Jon Moxley and Cope main evented the show instead, and the decision has sparked some backlash. At the AEW Revolution post-show media scrum, Miles from K-Rock in Los Angeles asked Tony Khan about the match between Toni Storm and Mariah May not main eventing Revolution. Khan said, quote, "I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Both are main event quality wrestlers. Of AEW Grand Slam Australia, I thought we put together a great show with great moments, and for where we are going next, I thought it made a lot of sense, and for where we had been, I felt it was a fantastic main event. Tonight they delivered, and it was absolutely fantastic. Great match. I really believed in it, and I really believed in the story. Absolutely, that is a match capable of main eventing, just like in Australia. Hindsight is always 20/20, but to me, putting it back together and looking back, Revolution is one of my all-time favorite shows. Toni Storm was in no condition to come up here. She lost a lot of blood. I thought it was a great moment to Swerve to have that moment and have the crowd come back and do the Who's House, Swerve's House. They didn't know they would see him again. It was a big reaction, and the crowd got behind Swerve at the end, which is never a surprise. Start to finish, it was a great show. That would be a great main event, and I also thought, in particular, there were a lot of matches that could have been the main event, including any of the last four. That's why I called it a big closing four, knowing that Swerve was waiting in the wings, and he's the number one contender. I had a feeling the crowd would get behind seeing Swerve at the end of the show. Now, speaking of Swerve Strickland, he is the number one contender for the AEW World Championship, but he did sustain an injury last night at Revolution. Swerve Strickland noted that he suffered a ruptured eardrum at AEW Revolution. Entering the AEW Revolution post-show press conference, Swerve asked for the media to speak up because he was dealing with a ruptured eardrum. Swerve defeated Ricochet at Revolution to become the number one contender for the AEW World Championship. At the end of the show, Swerve jumped off the balcony and delivered a double stomp to AEW World Champion Jon Moxley and a team of security. Moxley retained the AEW World Championship by defeating Christian Cage, who inserted himself into the match via a contract cash-in and Cope. Now, going to this more details going out of this post-show press conference. A bit of an update here when it comes to Big Boom AJ, because Big Boom AJ, Big Justice, and the Rizzler are all elite. Big Boom AJ competed in and won his second AEW match at AEW Revolution 0 Hour as he, Orange Cassidy, and Mark Briscoe defeated MXN Collection and Johnny TV. Big Justice and the Rizzler were involved in the match as well. At the AEW Revolution post-show media scrum, Mark Hock asked Big Boom AJ about potentially getting deeper into wrestling and joining the AEW roster. Quote, "How much deeper does everybody want me to get? I thought I was deep," he laughed. "Yes, I am officially with AEW right now. I'm undefeated. I'm under contract right now, as is Big Justice and the Rizzler. We are going to be here for a while. I know there are some names on the AEW roster that I might be gunning for. Some guys out there who don't quite believe in what I believe in. The happiness, the positivity, the boom. You never know how deep this thing is going to go," AJ said. Now, Big Boom AJ made his AEW in-ring debut at AEW Full Gear 0 Hour, where he defeated QT Marshall. He was out of action for a few months due to a broken foot before he returned to the ring last night at Revolution. Now, we spoke about that Hollywood ending match last night, and Timeless Toni Storm has shared her thoughts after the Hollywood ending. AEW Women's World Champion Timeless Toni Storm successfully defended her title by defeating Mariah May in the Hollywood ending at AEW Revolution. The bloody match marked the conclusion of their trilogy, which began at AEW All In 2024, where May defeated Storm to win the title. Storm evened the score by defeating May to win the title back at AEW Grand Slam Australia. With her victory at Revolution, Storm seemingly finished the story. In a digital exclusive that was posted on Storm's Instagram page, Toni Storm briefly commented on her victory, simply saying she missed her already, and she ended the message by saying, "Farewell, my love." Storm then blew May a kiss and walked away. Now, some more notes and details coming out of the media scrum last night at AEW Revolution. When it comes to Swerve Strickland, as I mentioned, he said he was suffering from a ruptured eardrum following his match with Ricochet. When asked about potentially a second reign with the AEW World Championship, Swerve said it takes a special crop of talent of both men and women to reach the world title, as it is a championship that not everyone can hold. They have to raise the bar. That's what he did in his first reign, and in his second reign, it'll be about silencing doubters. Strickland pointed out that his match with Ricochet on Sunday was the first time in AEW two black men fought for the #1 contendership. Big Boom AJ, as I mentioned, spoke that the Rizzler, Big Justice, and he are under contract with AEW. He said he had some music plans coming together, including with Swerve Strickland. Tony Khan promoted their recent arrival on Amazon Prime. Khan said that early numbers for Sunday's show look good. The first question was regarding him being more into the weeds of AEW's recent string of shows. Khan said he had read that report and compared it to being more involved with the booking leading into the first Revolution event back in 2020, saying sometimes he's more detail-orientated with some shows compared to others. He said he thought the buzz was there for this show, just like there was 5 years ago. When asked if they'd run the Intuit Dome, of course that was the location for Raw's Netflix debut with WWE, which recently just opened, Khan put over the Crypto.com arena instead, saying they would love to come back. He was asked if they'll do more long-term and long-form storytelling after the Toni Storm Mariah May match that took place on Sunday. Khan pivoted to explaining the storyline in depth. While putting over the storyline, he said Grand Slam Australia was one of AEW's best television shows. One question was asked about choosing to close, as mentioned, with the AEW World title match instead, but he explained it about talking about Swerve Strickland closing the show. He also said repeatedly that Sunday's show was start to finish the best show they've had. Khan ended the presser by saying this was one of the harder-hitting shows that they've done, and some people are banged up following the show. Khan was going to check with medical to see who would be cleared for this week's AEW Dynamite and Collision. And finally, a controversial moment coming out of Revolution and an audible groan backstage at the show. Damaris Lewis, who stars as Babs Wingo in the recently released Queen of the Ring movie centered around Mildred Book, broke the age-old rule of kayfabe to reveal she had learned wrestling was predetermined ahead of the AEW Revolution main event. Lewis supports Emily Bett Rickards as Burke in the recently released biopic about the women's wrestling pioneer, starring as Wingo, a relatively lesser-known black women's wrestler performing in the NWA throughout the 60s. With the film in theaters across the US after Friday, director Ash Avildsen was joined by ringside by Lewis and Kelly Berglund, who portrays Now Stewart, for a brief interview spot with Tony Schiavone. Avildsen directed Schiavone to ask the actors about what they had learned about wrestling, to which Lewis outright told everybody in attendance and on pay-per-view that wrestlers knew the results of the bouts before anyone else does. Quote, "One thing I learned about pro wrestlers, you all know you're going to win before anybody else does, so thank you for teaching me that," she said. Now, following the segment, Fightful Select noted there were audible groans from those watching backstage when she delivered the line. The timing of the interview couldn't have been more unfortunate for AEW either, given that it was coming directly before the main event for the AEW World Championship between Cope and Jon Moxley. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.